If you know two or more languages, you have the ability to switch between them without carrying the features of one to another. It's a skill that you can learn, develop, and eventually acquire with intentional and consistent practice. If the way you pronounce words in your native language is based on spelling, you have to make a switch when speaking English. I'm from the Philippines, so I'm going to use Filipino pronunciation as an example. In Filipino, there is only one way to pronounce T. It's not a crispy T, not even a fast D. It's in between. So we say Tagalog, not Tagalog, or talaga, not talaga. Para sa tibay resistensya, uminom ng Bear Brand. Para siguradong protektado ang pamilya, ugaliing maghugas ng kamay gamit ang safeguard. So, the. Now, it's quite the same with Italian and Spanish. Now, this way of pronouncing T is sometimes adopted when speaking English. So some people say, "What are you talking about?" Or, "I would like to show you the dress I keep telling you about. It's so pretty." You need to have a positive outlook in life. Now take note, there is nothing wrong with that, okay? In fact, some people actually find it sexy. They say it's a sexy accent. But if you're working in an industry or a company that requires a neutral North American accent, or if you want to reduce your native accent when speaking English, then you have to make a switch by tweaking up your pronunciation. And one way of tweaking up your pronunciation is by following the American T. The American T is influenced very strongly by intonation and its position in a word or phrase. So it can be a little tricky if you try to base your pronunciation on spelling alone. Say the words stew, do, new. And notice how T, D, and N are made with the tongue in the same place inside the mouth, which is in the gum ridge. This will help you understand the rules of the American T, which is what we are going to talk about in this video. Hi, I'm Joanne. I'm an English as a second language teacher and trainer, and this is Utter Better. The T can be pronounced in several different ways, depending on its position in a word and depending on the other sounds that surround it. The regular T sound is almost always used when the word starts with T, as in table and take. Sometimes T sounds more like a D, as in water and computer, and sometimes it's not pronounced at all, as in often and wanted. Other times it's barely pronounced, as in pot, and also it can change to a slightly different sound when it is followed by an R sound, as in traffic or true. Here are the 5 rules of the American T. First rule is T, the regular T sound, is almost always used when the word starts with a T, okay, or when T is the first letter of a word. Note that ST or TS always keep the regular T sound as well. Examples are table, tall, test, and best. Rule number 2. T equals D if it is between vowel sounds. When a T is between 2 vowel sounds, before an L or after an R in a vowel, it generally becomes a D sound. In phonetics, this is called flap or tapped D, which means the tongue quickly touches the gum ridge or the roof of the mouth. Now, it should be a soft, light sound. Just a quick one like better instead of saying better. Say better or heater, ability, party, 40. This is also applied between words as in great idea, take it off, put it on, get up, eat out. This is the key difference between British or British and American speech. This rule is widely applicable, though you may find a few exceptions. An exception under this rule is if T is within a stressed syllable, it doesn't change to a D sound. Like in the words attach, you don't say adach, or tattoo, you don't say tattoo, right? Attack, attain, attention. Another exception is if the vowel is silent, like in the words write and bite. The E is silent, and if they are the last word in a phrase or a sentence, say take a bite. Some people say take a bite, but some people say take a bite. Or some people say I hate it. Some people say I hate it. So again, it's an exception. It depends. Rule number 3. T is silent after an N. The T after an N is often silent in American pronunciation. Instead of saying internet, a lot of Americans will frequently say internet. Generally, it is informal, as it's mostly used when people speak quickly. But this is fairly standard speech and is not considered overly casual or slobby speech. Note that a strong T should not be pronounced when at the middle or end of a word. When not at the beginning or stressed, a T should be fast and soft or barely heard at all. Here are some examples. International, wanted, 20, accountable, printer, interview. Rule number 4. The T is dropped after an N sound. Drop the T when it is followed by an N sound within a word. For example, when pronouncing button, drop the T as in but and then add N without releasing the tongue from the gum ridge. So the final N should be strong. Instead of saying button, you say button. Here are examples. Mountain, fountain, important, sentence, forgotten. Rule number 5. T is stopped or held when T is at the end of a word and is not followed by a vowel or before consonants within a word. The sound stops. You just have to emphasize the preceding vowel and simply stop the sound. Examples are foot, want, sit, rat, hot, can't. When the next word begins with a consonant, T is dropped. Examples are at work, it was, 8 weeks. Note that sometimes the final T words is pronounced, usually at the end of a phrase or a sentence, and also for special emphasis of a word. For example, it's hot. That's great. You can practice these rules by reading books with rhyme and repetition. I have the books Fox and Socks and The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. These books are for kids that you could read to practice the American T. Now, let's read some lines. What do you know about Tweedlebeetles? A vowel and an L. There's a T between a vowel and an L. So Tweedle, Tweedlebeetles. When Tweedlebeetles fight, it's called a Tweedlebeetle battle. And when they battle in a puddle, it's a Tweedlebeetle puddle battle. And when Tweedlebeetles battle with paddles in a puddle, they call it a Tweedlebeetle puddle paddle battle. Let's try from the Lorax. Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I am doing no harm. I am being quite useful. Quite useful or quite useful is fine. This thing is of need. Of needs to find something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, for curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that full of need. So find a book or anything you can read. practice the American T following the 2021 rule, which is basically practicing 20 minutes a day for 21 consecutive days, or until it becomes a permanent way of how you speak. So that is it for this video. I hope it helps. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and share. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon for you to be notified about more videos such as this. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing. I'll see you in our next video.